and we have answered the call. For years, you've been saying, Betsy, you're talking about all these great design concepts, but we can't visualize them. You're describing the picture that the listener sent in of their problem, and we wish we could see that picture too. After all, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I do my best to describe them, but there's nothing like seeing it for yourself. And that's why Affordable Interior Design, the podcast, now has a YouTube channel. Not only do we have a YouTube channel where you could see recordings and clips of these podcast episodes, we also have an Instagram, a Facebook, and so many other exciting things. You should check it out. Head over to affordableinteriordesign.com/links. Once again, affordableinteriordesign.com/LINKS. links. And when you go there, you will see links to our YouTube page, our Instagram page, our Facebook page, and more. Please check it out, follow and subscribe so you can see everything I'm talking about.
You don't need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
Why, hello there. It is so exciting to be back with you. I have a big, long question or series of questions from Didi in Crossville, Tennessee, that I'm going to dive right into today. But you know why I'm so excited to work on this question from Tennessee? I'm so excited because coming up in 2 weeks is CrimeCon in Nashville, Tennessee. Having this new baby at home, I am so conflicted. I want to go to CrimeCon. CrimeCon is no place for a stroller and an infant. No place for that. We can't have the baby crying during, a keynote speaker. But I had such a blast years ago when I went to CrimeCon. I don't know if it was 2019, before COVID, 2018. And I would really love to go again. So seeing this question from Tennessee is just making me have a lot of FOMO. Do I want to quickly book a ticket in 2 weeks and try and get down there? The answer is yes. But my husband is not keen on watching the baby for 3 days. And so that's what's on my mind. What's on your mind? Have you been thinking about going to CrimeCon? Are you going to CrimeCon? Oh my gosh, so jealous. And if not, maybe you're doing something else fun. I'm looking for like a momcation that's stimulating, because I do love sitting on the beach. You guys know me. I love just, mellowing out with a good book, but I feel like I want to be around people. I feel like I've been spending a lot of time alone with this baby who's not talking to me, which is totally fine. She's adorable and there's nobody else I'd rather spend time with, but I could use a little mental stimulation. I really could. So that is what's on my mind. Let's read what's on Didi's mind. Now, there's a lot of questions here, so I'm going to just read the whole email, and then I'll kind of talk about the pictures, and we'll dig in and address each issue one at a time. Didi writes, "Hi, Betsy. Love, 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 love your podcast and your book. We are settling into our newly constructed home. While I'm pleased with what we've done in furnishing and decorating our great room and dining room, I feel stumped with what to do with all the other spaces. I would like to address my primary bedroom first. Right now, it is a graveyard of misfits. A chair in the corner, the rug, the end tables. We back up to the forest and don't have privacy issues, but I did have a pull-down roller shade installed on the large window. The only solid wall is the one opposite with the king bed on it. There is a pocket door to the primary bath and the bedroom door on the wall opposite the bed, and a walk-in closet on the wall opposite the wall with the window. The items that I'd like to work with are the pendant lighting, the antique chest, and the bed frame. Otherwise, it is a blank slate, literally. I am open to spray painting the metal bed frame. It's a bronze color now. I've been thinking about painting the wainscoting, Sherwin-Williams iron ore, and the metal bed frame in a muted gold to tie in with the pendants. We have accents of black and bronzy gold elsewhere in the house. The bed is tall and the end tables are 30 inches high, although I've come to realize I'd prefer something more like a chest that has drawers for storage. I'm open to going a different direction with the paint as well. The walls are currently Sherwin-Williams Worldly Gray, and the wainscoting and trim are Sherwin-Williams Pure White. The last photo is a pic of the rug in the great room to give you an idea of the overall color palette of the rest of the house. I want to stay within that same 60-30-10 formula. Betsy, I am ready for the smackdown as I have not come up with my overall 3-word phrase. Okay, so there's a lot going on here, Didi. And when you're designing a primary bedroom, there's a lot at stake. You want it to feel really soothing and relaxing, your oasis. And it is a nice large room, which is quite exciting with beautiful windows, really tall wainscoting behind the bed. There's a lot to like about this space. So let me describe it a little bit more. So, like I say, there's that tall molding behind the bed. The bed is higher in shape. Then we have these small little windows above that wainscoting. We have a larger window perpendicular to the bed. On either side of the bed, above where the nightstands are these pendant lamps that are in sort of this brass finish with a clear glass globe that appears to be fluted. We've got a ceiling fan. We've got this light to mid-tone wood flooring that really shows its rustic quality in terms of, showing the grain, showing the knots, having it be a very light stain color. So there's lots to like here. Now, let's dig into your questions. The architecture of the space, and I'm meaning like window frames, doorknobs, appears to be this dark bronze color, which also is kind of coordinating with the ceiling fan, which appears to have like a dark brown or black blade within a brass or gold type canopy piece that attaches it to the ceiling. Now, your metal finishes and your 60-30-10 in terms of your color palette do not need to coordinate with the rest of the home. When you have a room that has a door that can completely close itself off to the other spaces, you can have it have its own vibe, its own 3-word phrase. It does not need to adopt the 3-word phrase of adjacent rooms because it's not open to those spaces. But it sounds like to me, even though you understand that, you want it to have the same color palette as the other part of the space, that great room. So let me share with people more about that rug. First of all, I love this rug. It's kind of muted in tone. Overall, it appears to be gray with some beige type medallion organic-y floral type patterns that are, like I say, muted. It appears to feature like a rust orange, kind of well-worn denim navy, faded olive. So these are the tones that really pop out to me in terms of the 60-30-10. And as I'm looking at the edges, there might be a little bit of a golden hue as well. So maybe a golden yellow, muted olive, muted navy, and a rust type orange. So that sounds like it's the color palette that you're wanting to use. I'm not sure which 3 tones you've pulled from this rug, but there's not too many tones to choose from, only about 4 or 5. So, we can stay relatively focused there. The questions, getting back to those, are first of all, spray painting the bed. I don't love to spray paint anything unless I'm really confident about it. And remember, when you're choosing your metal finishes, you can choose a finish that's two-toned. And in this case, that's exactly what I do. I would be combining dark metal finish, which is like that wrought iron, which is sort of the look of the bed, with this brass. And you will find that that two-tone combination is everywhere right now. You will be finding this black, brown, gold finish in combination all over the place. So I would really stick there so that you don't have to spray paint this bed, because the bed itself works really well with the architecture of the space in terms of that finish being the same as the window framing as well as the doorknobs. So don't spray paint the bed. And now it's time for a quick commercial break. Are you a fan of this podcast? Do you wish there was even more juicy content for you to sink your ears into? Well, there is. You can become a premium member of this podcast for $5.99 a month and get full access to an archive of over 50 bonus episodes. Additionally, we release a bonus episode every single month. That's a ton of extra content, including my personal interior design diaries, extra tips, my talking about trends, and so much more. Additionally, you'll be keeping us on the airwaves each and every week because your premium membership money goes directly back to making this podcast amazing. Check us out at affordableinteriordesign.com. Click on podcast to learn more and to become a premium member today. Next question. Should you paint the wainscoting behind the bed? Right now, it's currently the same color as the trim, which is an off-white. Should you paint it a very dark gray? My answer to this is no. I would be more inclined to paint all the walls that Sherwin-Williams iron ore. So I think it would be a lot cooler, pun intended, to have the walls be that really saturated, really dramatic dark gray. And the reason I'm suggesting this is because it has crown molding that is a light creamy color. It has very chunky framing around the window boxes that is that trim color that's creamy. The floors are not too dark. The ceilings are a bright white. So this room is not going to look dark. Additionally, there's not that much wall space. These walls are cut up with a lot of doors, a lot of windows, and then, of course, this beautiful architectural molding behind the bed. So this color will look very dramatic without making the room look like a cloudy day. So that would be where I would put that gray paint color. In terms of the end tables, I do think it makes sense to do something a little bit chunkier. Right now, you have these round pedestal tables that have no storage, and they don't necessarily look bad, but you have things like alarm clocks and chargers. So I'm seeing every cord because it can't be well concealed behind that narrow pedestal. I think having something chunkier like a chest with drawers not only gives you a lot of opportunity for storage, but also they're typically a little bit higher, like that 30-inch height, which will be perfect with this high bed. And then it'll camouflage, the stuff we don't want to see, like the cords, and give you all that great space to put stuff inside. So I definitely agree with that. Now, when you're selecting those, you want to think strategically about what you're going to do. I can't see, let me look in these pictures. Do I see any dressers? Because we want to do something different than the dressers. You don't want your nightstands matching the dressers. It's way too matchy-matchy. So I don't see any dressers in this space. You might have a large walk-in closet or something like that. In which case, you can do a lot of different things with these chests and you can really keep it open. You could do a color, right? And they have lots of beautiful colors. I've definitely seen some olive or navy 3-drawer chests that could double as a nightstand. Or you could do a true wood tone, right? And we know that the furniture in the room does not have to match the flooring, even though it certainly could. The only color I would not recommend for those 3-drawer chests would be any color that's not found in the rug or the white or cream of the trim, because of course we've got that tall molding behind the bed. So it would really either clash or be a little bit off with the molding and the paint color of that nightstand, or it would just blend in and look like all one tone, which is not what we're looking for. Um, we've covered your question about the paint. And then in terms of the color palette, I think that using the color palette from that other rug is wonderful. I really enjoy those colors. Now, when you're picking a color palette from your inspiration piece, you want to do a mix of warm and cool. So for your 60-30-10, two of those colors would be cool or one of them would be warm. Or you could flip it and have two of them be warm and one be cool. So make sure when you're selecting that you're thinking about that. The other thing is that this rug needs to be much larger for the space. Right now you have a small rug under the bed and it is forming that T shape so that when we get out, we have, a soft plush place to walk around the bed. But I think you could really do a better job defining this room with a large rug. And by large, I mean a rug that would even extend underneath part of, if not fully under, that armchair that's tucked in the corner, facing the bed at an angle. Now, everything in this room is at a somewhat similar level, between like 30 and 42 inches high. I think it could be fun to add, when you're changing out this chair, a wing back chair to the equation. So you said you don't like this chair. I think a high wing back would really add some height and gravitas to the room. And I would consider putting drapes on that window that you told me faces the forest that doesn't need privacy. I just think that drapes will add a softness, another opportunity for color as well as texture. And you won't actually close them. They do not need to be functional and they can be hung well outside and above the windows so they're not encroaching on any of that beautiful natural light. But I definitely would do drapes only on that window because you do have those two small sets of windows above the high molding on either side of the bed. But those windows are really high. I mean, they're about a foot off the ceiling and they're very small, maybe 18 inches to 24 inches high. So we don't need to dress those. It would, in fact, be distracting. So I'm just dressing that one large window, and I think it's going to really be a statement when you walk in the room. The trick for you, in my estimation as a designer, the hard part is going to be choosing an inspiration piece for this room that has the colors from the other room. You will need to be very discerning when you're choosing a rug, if that's going to be the inspiration piece, or when you're choosing, say, drapes for that window. Art is also a place you could do that inspiration piece, but it's going to be hard for there to be a conspicuous piece of art in the room, like the minute you walk in, that you would see it and understand the color palette, because there's not a lot of space above the headboard and above that molding. And there's just not a lot of walls in here, as I mentioned before when we were talking about that darker paint color, because it's so broken up with the doors and things like that. Now, I'm not saying you don't need art. I'm just saying the art is going to be a lesser statement, a smaller statement, and we need that inspiration piece to really smack us in the face when we walk in to understand what's going on here with the colors in this room. So I think the rug is the place to do that. And I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a very large rug that has those exact same colors from the other room. Now, one trick that I use when I'm trying to find a rug that has those exact same colors is I will look at the rug brand. Let's just say it's Safavieh. And typically the rug brand might have like a rug name. So let's just say it's the Everly from Safavieh. What I would do is Google the Everly from Safavieh and see if there's other rugs with different patterns in the same colorway. Because you might be asking yourself, Betsy, could I just use this exact same rug in here, just a different size than the great room? And I wouldn't do that. I think that's a missed opportunity. I think you could do something more complex and it's just a little bit more challenging, but well worth the search. But the way I just told you to search is going to make it easier to find that exact color match and to use this exact color palette without having a redundant pattern. Didi, look at this. I have solved all your problems. Guys, do you want me to solve your design dilemmas? I would be more than happy to. All you have to do is head over to affordableinteriordesign.com/podcast. Once again, affordableinteriordesign.com/podcast. Fill out the form, send me your pictures, and you'll be hearing your question on an upcoming episode. Until then, bye. Do you love this podcast? Do you wish you could learn even more? Well, we have an online class bundle. Our online class bundle is comprised of 3 online classes: Beautifying Your Home for Less, Styling Your Home, and the Fundamentals of Feng Shui. Each one of those 3 classes is between 30 and 45 minutes long and chock-filled with visuals and tips, things that will help you to style your own space or help out with other spaces. Additionally, with the pack of 3 classes, you get an autographed copy of my book, Affordable Interior Design. You get all of that for only $99. Once again, that's the 3 online classes as well as the book for only $99. You just go to affordableinteriordesign.com/classes. Once again, affordableinteriordesign.com/classes to buy your bundle today. And if one of those classes sounded intriguing, but maybe you already have my book or some of the other topics are not of interest, you can buy the classes individually at that site as well. Each class is $40. So head over to affordableinteriordesign.com/classes to get your bundle or your online class today. A big thank you to our amazing producer, Catherine Heller, to Aton and the MVCR House Band, and to Affordable Interior Design, the sponsor of this podcast and the premier place to get an amazing look on a budget. Check out affordableinteriordesign.com. If you guys love the show, the very best way to support us is by spreading the word. Tell your friends or write us an awesome review on iTunes. So until next week, guys, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.